Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks for today. We're talking today's NBA betting slate, Wednesday, November 20th. I'm going to have three NBA player prop picks for you guys to lock in today. Of course, all three of which are plus money plays because that's how we do things here. I'm coming up here with a smile on my face, but yesterday was admittedly just a brutal, brutal day. The stat sheet shows 0 for 4, down 3.95 units, which is exactly what happened. The unfortunate reality is 3 of the 4 plays lost by exactly one stat. Now, of course, lower props are going to have more hooks, right? Zach Collins, 4+ assists, ending with 3. That's pretty close, right? Ben Simmons, over 5.5 assists, ending with 5. That's pretty close. But Zach Collins, over 22.5 PRA, ending with exactly 20. That's brutal. You would hope that one of those hooks could go just on the other side, have a positive hook for us. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Just a brutal day yesterday. And then the Darius Garland thing wasn't even close. You know, he shot horribly, like 3 for 16 from the field, something like that. Just not even close. On the entire season, that just sums up exactly how this season has gone. It's the third day of this season where we've had 3 separate plays lose by exactly one stat. 3 hooks 3 separate times is nasty work. If half those go our way, the final season results you see on the screen here look a lot differently, but they haven't, and we can only track what has officially happened. It's just been a very, very frustrating season because you would hope some of these plays would start going our way. It hasn't happened yet. Let's hope that starts tonight. I appreciate, again, from the bottom of my heart, everybody who's been rocking with me. It's been almost nothing but positive comments, people just being encouraging, which I really, really appreciate because it's not what you expect from the internet, especially sports betting internet. So I appreciate that. Very confident I'm going to turn things around, that we are going to turn things around because it's a team game here. But let's hope that starts tonight. Play number 1. Pacers versus Rockets game. I'm taking Alperen Sengun over 22.5 points plus 100 odds at ESPN Bet. So what we're doing here, we're targeting a Pacers defense, which is a very, very bad defense that also plays at a decently fast pace. They have the 24th ranked defensive net rating in the last 10 games, while also playing at the 12th fastest pace. So, it's not as fast as they were playing last year. It's not as bad of a defense that they had last year as well, but it's still a below average defense and an above average pace in terms of the Pacers. Now, looking at the Rockets, they play at the 6th fastest pace in the NBA over this same stretch. So when two teams play at an above average pace, one of them top 6, one of them just above average, you expect both teams are going to be running. You expect a lot more possessions. And obviously, more possessions just leads to overall stat accumulation and all that stuff. Now, looking at Sengun, he has missed this number in 4 straight games. But if you know me, you know that just makes me like this prop even more. The 2 games prior to this stretch where he's missed 4 straight, he scored 27 points in those 2 games in back-to-back games. So Sengun is not the type of guy who's consistently scoring in the high 20s. So 2 games in the high 20s. It only makes sense that the scoring load went down a little bit after that. I'm expecting that to swing back the other way in this Pacers matchup, who's a great matchup for big men like Sengun and a good matchup for his scoring type as well. So the Pacers, they're about middle of the pack in terms of pick and roll possessions run against them. Like if you look at NBA.com, you look at play type, and you look at number of possessions per game, they're slightly below average in terms of how many roll men they see like a play run to the roll man per game. But with that said, they allow the 7th most points per game to pick and roll men, and they allow the 5th highest points per possession to the pick and roll man as well. So despite the fact that they don't see it very often compared to the rest of the NBA, 7th most points per game on the 5th most points per possession. Sengun, he runs the 5th most possessions as the pick and roll man in the entire NBA, and he scores the 8th most points per game as the pick and roll man as well. So very good matchup in that regard. From there, so roll man is the number 1 play type in which Sengun scores the most of his points. Number 2, the play type in which he scores the second most of his points is at the free throw line, getting to the line, getting fouled, making free throws. The Pacers allow the 5th most free throws per game. They foul at the 6th highest rate in the NBA. I wanted to say NFL, in the NBA as well. So good matchup from there for Sengun as well. And then you just kind of you take a step back from play types. You just look at like where on the court he scores, where on the court the Pacers are weak. Over half of his points from Sengun come in the restricted area. It makes sense, right? Big man, back to the basket. That's how he scores. The Pacers allow the 6th most made field goals in the restricted area on the 7th most, or excuse me, on the 5th most attempts. So teams are shooting a lot at the rim against the Pacers. Again, 6th most made field goals on the 5th most attempts. And just look at their game logs, right? Last time the Pacers played a game, Jakob Poeltl hung 30 on them. I was on Grady Dick in that game. I was wrong. Overall, 4 straight centers have hit their point props against the Pacers. That includes Bam Adebayo twice. It includes Goga Bitadze twice. Anybody, if you're a big man, you run pick and roll, you're getting it against the Pacers. So let's hope that continues tonight with Alperen Sengun. That's play number 1. Play number 2, we're heading to the Hawks versus Warriors game. And I'm taking Clint Capela over 8.5 rebounds plus 106 odds at FanDuel. Now, if you look at, I track all this stuff, my markets, one of the only markets in which I have a positive ROI this season, because it's not a lot of them, is the rebounds market. So hopefully that means maybe we're finding something with rebound props. Let's hope that we can continue that luck tonight with Clint Capela. You wouldn't think of it because the Warriors, they're known as this fast-paced jump shooting team, and generally jump shooting teams don't lead to rebounds to centers, but the Warriors quietly allow literally the most rebounds per game to centers. They're 30th in rebounds allowed to centers, allowing 19.61 per game. Obviously, if you're allowing the most rebounds per game to centers, they're also the best matchup in the NBA for center rebound props as well. This is according to props.cash, which not only looks at the number of rebounds they give up, but also compares that to the players over under as well. So you want to find situations where you're still getting value, even when the team like the Warriors are giving up so many rebounds to centers. And just look through their game log. It makes complete sense, allowing a ton of rebounds to centers. Ivica Zubac on November 19th, just a couple days ago, last night actually. Actually, that was 2 games ago. The game just went into the 19th in the morning, whatever, doesn't matter. 17 rebounds, his over-under was 12.5. Zach Edey, 9 rebounds, his over-under was 5.5. Derek Lively III, 8 rebounds on an over-under of 7.5. Jarrett Allen, 12 rebounds on an over-under of 11.5. So high rebound props, centers are still hitting, and some high rebound props, centers are smoking. Now, looking at Clint Capela, he's been pretty good from a rebounding perspective recently. He's gotten to at least 9 rebounds in 5 of his last 6 games. And that was after doing it in only 2 of his first 9. So if you look at his entire season hit rate, it's not going to be that impressive, less than a 50% hit rate. But it's been much better recently. So that slow start, now he's in a hot streak. Let's hope that we can kind of catch him in a hot streak in a good matchup. In this stretch, this 6-game stretch, he's averaging 10.8 rebounds per game. And more importantly, on 17.7 rebound chances per game as well. So there's nothing an outlier number about the amount of rebounds he's collecting versus his rebound chances. He hit this in both games against the Warriors last year, 11 and 15 rebounds. He cashed it in both games against the Warriors prior to that as well. So the last 2 seasons, he's played the Warriors 4 times. He's hit this rebound number in all 4 of those games. And in general, you look at the shot profile of the Warriors. Again, you would think them as this, every shot is from the outside, but it's either the outside or it's around the rim. They take the 7th most shots within 5 feet from the basket. That leads to rebounds to centers. So look for Clint Capela to get to at least 9 rebounds tonight, cashing out our second play of the evening. Third up, and our final pick of the evening as of right now, if I decide to send anything out, I'll send it out to both my Twitter and my Dub Club. But we're heading to the Bulls versus Bucks game. Damian Lillard over 7.5 assists plus 120 odds at DraftKings. For our third and final pick of the evening, going right back to a beautiful system play of taking your point guard assist props against the Bulls. There are just a ton of metrics supporting this system. Number 1, let's go high level. The Bulls have the worst defensive net rating in the NBA over the last 10 games, literally 30th, while also playing at the fastest pace in the NBA as well in this stretch. So worst defense, fastest pace. That is a beautiful combination for just stat props in general. Doesn't matter what you're looking at. Teams that have a bad defense, that play at a fast pace, that's the dream matchup. From there, let's go even more specific. They allow the most assists per game to point guards, while also being the best matchup for point guard assist props as well. So it's very, very similar to rebound props with the Warriors. Not only do they allow the most to this position, they're also the best matchup for that prop for this position as well. And again, for this case, we're looking at point guard assist props against the Bulls. Now, looking at Damian Lillard, he's not having the best season from an assist perspective. He's not terrible, but he's only hit this number in 3 out of 10 games. that doesn't scare me off at all. He's been consistently close, which is part of it, right? Like 3 separate times this season, he got to exactly 7 assists. And he also had 2 games this season in which he reached 16 potential assists, but did not even get to 8 actual assists. That's a pretty low conversion rate. That's unlikely to continue over the course of an entire season. Generally, for most players, you can rely on like a 55% conversion ratio. More often than not this year, Lillard's been below 50%. So that's kind of going to swing back the other way. And look at this matchup. We saw this exact matchup earlier this season. In that game, Damian Lillard recorded 8 assists. More importantly, 19 potential assists. That's the most potential assists he's had in a game this entire season. Recording 8 on 19 is a horrible hit rate. So, I mean, you could even ladder him up to 10. If you want to go double-double, you wanted to go 10 plus assists, really go bold, you could do that. I just need to see one go through the hoop, so I'm taking the over 7.5 because we're still getting it at a good price at plus 120. And that's all we got. 3 plays for you guys to lock in. A 3-0 day is going to catapult us to start going on a hot streak that I have been waiting for. You know, it's frustrating. We had a stretch dating back to last week where we were green in 5 of 6 days. We've now been in the red 4 straight. So it's just like, as soon as we go on a hot streak, immediately the other side comes out, which is just kind of the nature and the business of how this season has gone. Let's hope we have a great night tonight. Again, Sengun over 22.5 points. Clint Capela over 8.5 rebounds. Damian Lillard over 7.5 assists. And that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a good one.